On the surface, St. Clair in Western Sydney is a peaceful place with warm-hearted people. It is the last place you would expect a scene from a horror movie to come to life. But inside one household on St. Clair Avenue, a nightmare had been brewing for years. This is the story of Rita Camilleri, a mother whose devotion to her child knew no bounds, and her daughter Jessica, whose mind was a labyrinth of delusions that would eventually swallow them both. Rita Camilleri was 57 years old. By all accounts, she was a saint to her daughter. She's the type of mother that could sacrifice anything for her children. Jessica was 25. At that time, she suffered from a complex cocktail of conditions: autism, dyslexia, ADHD, and a mild to moderate intellectual disability. From a young age, Jessica had difficulty controlling her temper. She had a history of exploding into rages, harassing strangers over the phone with threats of decapitation, and assaulting family members. Yet Rita never gave up on her. She was Jessica's sole carer, her protector, and tragically, also her prisoner. And to add into all of that difficulty, Jessica had an obsession about horror films. She didn't just watch movies, she consumed them. Like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Jeepers Creepers, she watched them all on repeat, fascinated by the gore, the dismemberment, the violence. This lit an ember of violence in Jessica, and soon it will become an inferno, flames that consume both her and her mother. As Jessica's behaviour grew more erratic, Rita became desperate. Traditional medicine wasn't working. The outbursts were getting more frequent and more violent. In her desperation, Rita turned to the supernatural. She found a spirit communicator in Western Sydney, a woman who went by the name the She-Wolf. Rita paid this woman a hefty sum of money, about $2,500, for the so-called exorcise ritual. Why? Because Rita had convinced herself that her daughter wasn't just sick. She believed a demon was living inside Jessica. She paid the money to have the demon exorcised, in hope that her daughter would recover from the illness that made their life so difficult. But there was no demon. There was only a deteriorating mind, untreated and dangerous, waiting to snap. It is a Saturday night, July 20th, 2019. Tensions in the Camilleri household are at a breaking point. An argument starts between Rita and Jessica in the kitchen. We may never know exactly what triggered it, perhaps something trivial. But for Jessica, it didn't matter. There is only blood in her eyes now. And just a moment after she snaps, she grabs a kitchen knife. And what happens next is too graphic to describe in full detail. Jessica lunges into her mother and stabs her. Not once, not twice, but over 100 times. And when she breaks one knife, she then grabs another and continues stabbing her mother over and over again. In a frenzy that mirrors the horror movie she idolized, she doesn't stop there. She wants something more, something that she saw in those movies, to decapitate her own mother. But before that, Jessica cut out Rita's eyeballs, tongue, and nose. At 11:40 p.m., the phone rings at emergency services.
Hello.
Hello, this is Alison from Police Emergency. We just received a call from this number.
Yes, I need you to get the ambulance and the police out here immediately.
To which address?
128 St. Clair Avenue. Please come. I need you. This is our immediate life or death situation.
Which suburb or town is that in?
St. Clair.
Okay, so it's 128 St. Clair Avenue, St. Clair. And what's the nearest crossroad, please?
What's the nearest one? Listen, can you talk to the neighbour? I'm flustered. Can you just talk in?
Rochford Street, is it?
Could you? Because my hand's bleeding. Yeah. Thank you. Can you talk to? Oh, my finger's broken. I can't.
Yeah.
What's happened?
I don't know. We was just at home, but she just come in screaming for help. And when suddenly I opened the door, she said, "Just help me," and call the police or ambulance. And she said to me, she had a fight with her mom, I think.
Okay.
My mom tried to stab me, and I killed her, I think.
So did she just say her mum tried to stab her?
I don't know because of the...
Yes.
Yeah.
With a knife. And in self-defense, I think I killed her. Yes. Can you tell him to come immediately?
Yeah, can you please just come immediately, please?
Okay, so she believes that she may have killed her mother.
Mum has had enough of me because I admit I've been a challenge, and this ongoing thing's been going for months anyway. She had enough of me. She grabbed me by the hair and dragged me from my room all the way to the kitchen, and she got a knife and she tried to stab me with it, and I grabbed the knife off her because I thought she was going to stab me, so I stabbed her back. And I was so heated up with anger, I just kept stabbing and stabbing and stabbing her, and I took off her head. Her head is, I ran to my neighbour, not this neighbour, my other neighbour before this one, who's on the other side. He was at work. I told him to call the ambulance and the police immediately. He's going to do so, but no one's at home because everyone in the family is at work now. Okay. So he wasn't much help. He said, all I can do is I'll call the police and the ambulance to my address, and I thought it was going to take a bit of time, so I ran to my other neighbour on the other side.
It is Jessica. She is covered in blood. She isn't crying. She isn't mourning. When police arrive, they find a scene so gruesome that even a veteran police officer is shocked. Jessica told police that she took her mother's severed head in a fit of rage, of panic, and attempted to show it to her neighbour for evidence. But it slipped from her hands and landed on the footpath outside the home, where it was discovered by first responders. She said, "My mum's head is on the concrete over there. Can you bring someone back to life if they don't have a head? Can you sew it back on?" Showing how unhinged she is at that moment. Soon, Jessica's trial begins, and the most absurd thing is, Jessica pleaded not guilty to murder, claiming substantial impairment of her mental state. Her defense argued that she lost total control, that her autism and intellectual disability made it impossible for her to stop. The jury heard about her obsession with Jeepers Creepers, about the demon her mother tried to get rid of. And on December 10th, 2020, the jury returned a verdict, not guilty of murder, but guilty of manslaughter. Judge Helen Wilson called the crime extraordinarily vicious and brutal. She sentenced Jessica Camilleri to only 21 years and 7 months in prison, without the possibility of parole for 16 years and 2 months. But the story didn't end with the judge's gavel in 2021. The violence that consumed Rita Camilleri did not stop Jessica's madness, even when she was behind bars. In September 2023, the case returned to the headlines. Even within the high-security walls of the Silverwater Correctional Complex, Jessica's volatility remained. Jessica was charged with assaulting prison officers after having assaulted 2 inmates and prison officers previously, hair-pulling, scratching, and attacking the very people tasked with guarding her. The uncontrollable rage, because of her mental illness, get her only 12 months in jail after she pleaded guilty to an attack on 2 female guards at Dilwinia Correctional Center. And earlier this year, she was sentenced to 6 months in jail after she pleaded guilty to the common assault of a prison officer at Dilwinia on March 13th this year. A court heard earlier this year that Camilleri had struggled with life behind bars and had repeatedly pulled the hair of correctional officers. Camilleri will return to court on October 22nd. I felt sorry for the officers, for all the things they had been through. But best to keep her there, where officers at least know how to handle her. Though I don't think even they know how to. I can't imagine what would happen if she got out of prison, and the horror that she could bring upon the people of St. Clair. Jessica Camilleri will remain behind bars until at least 2036. The tragedy of the Camilleri case isn't just the violence. It is the story of a mother who loved her daughter so much she tried everything, even exorcisms, to try and save her daughter. Even in the end, Rita always loved her daughter and thought highly of her. She never believed that her daughter could hurt anyone. But tragically, Rita Camilleri became the first victim who died at the hands of the very person she spent her life caring and loving. If you or someone you know is struggling with mental health, please seek medical care and professional help. This case shows us the importance of mental health and consequences if left untreated. Please leave a comment on what you think about the case, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourself and others.